Two bros chilling in the hot tub.
You the twos and we the ones? Well, you are the biggest two of them all, my dog. That's what you are. You are a giant number two.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of The Always. I am Bryce, and I am joined along by.
I'm Matt. I'm a depressed Packers fan. So
It's okay. It's not the end of the world.
you just sound
But
like Trump there for a second. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. What was that?
I don't know. But let's start right away with the big news of the week so far, and that is yesterday, the New York Giants and Brian Daboll have agreed to part ways. Well, they just fired him
It was
yesterday.
great.
He had a 17-22-1 record with a 1-1 playoff record, and he was a coach of the year in 2022. Should he have been fired? And if so, or if not, should he have been fired earlier, or should he have been given longer?
I think he at least needed another year. This was a terrible firing, in my opinion. He's clearly not at fault. You know, it doesn't help when every single time you're in a close game, your quarterback somehow finds a way to go down and you're stuck with Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So if you watched that game yesterday, they were rolling. Their offense looked amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to absolutely manhandle the Bears, and then Russell Wilson had to come in the game and they blew a lead.
Yeah.
Brian Dable is not the reason for this. Honestly, if anyone should be fired, it's Joe Shane. Joe Shane.
Joe Shane, yeah.
Joe Shane. He's an absolutely atrocious GM. He's the one who gave Daniel Jones the massive contract, let Saquon Barkley walk, and then had to mortgage their future just so they could have a guy like Russell Wilson playing for the first 3 weeks, first 4 weeks, and then who screwed them over.
Yep, I 100% agree. I thought if they were going to fire him, it should have been last year after their whole
100%.
debacle. But this year, I would have given him the whole year because now we see two rookie quarterbacks have their head coaches fired halfway through the year, midway through the year, not halfway through the year. But it doesn't really do anything for confidence for your quarterback to say, hey, your coach that you had coming in is gone. We fired him. It's gonna make the quarterback like, hey, did I play this bad? Was I the reason why? It screws with those guys. It screws the guys, and you see guys usually that have coach firings don't ever truly adjust to the NFL because that confidence is on their head that I got a coach fired my rookie year. When it may or may not be true, but it brings confidence or it brings confidence down for those quarterbacks.
Someone who was affected by a coach firing like their rookie year was Baker Mayfield. We watched how it took him a good 2 seasons to actually get the real NFL play style down. Yeah, he played great, but we didn't see winning football out of him until Stefanski came along and created a significant culture change.
And we saw it with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence never truly was the same. Caleb Williams, the jury is still out on because what's his name? Eberflus was fired halfway, pretty sure Thanksgiving last year or something.
He got fired pretty early, yeah.
And he's playing well with Ben Johnson, but we still have to see. There's still a lot of time left with Caleb Williams' career, but the big one that I had to talk about is Trevor Lawrence because of that reason that he did have a coach that was fired mid-season, and it didn't really help him that much. So
Yeah.
Next one we have to talk about, we're going to move on to injuries, but this one just happened after I wrote this. The first one we're going to talk about is Jair Alexander stepping away from football to get ready physically and get ready mentally. Was this a waste of a trade for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Not at all. I think obviously, the Eagles are not thinking about the regular season. They are completely ignoring the regular season at this point. The Eagles are thinking about the postseason. If Jair Alexander can get himself healthy and mentally ready for the postseason, they'll be just fine.
Yeah, I agree with that. He wasn't going to play that much of the regular season anyways, just getting up to speed. And now he's definitely going to have all the time he needs to get up to speed with him taking away time away from football to deal with all of his injuries and his mental stuff returning from injuries, because I imagine it takes a toll when you have to deal with injury after injury. after injury after injury. That's why guys like Andrew Luck retired. That's why Tre'Davious White's career was ended because of it. Pretty much. Granted, he's still in the Bills, but he's not the Tre'Davious White of old anymore. But yeah, no, it's huge. Hope to see Jair Alexander on the field again. Great player when he's healthy and right. Next one is probably the second biggest news of the day. Had this probably would have been the biggest news of the day had Brian Daboll not have got fired. But Travis Hunter is out for the year after having surgery to repair his LCL. The recovery time is 6 months, meaning May 11th, meaning he will be back next season. What does this do for the Jags?
I prior to the trade deadline, I probably would have said this is a massive blow to the team. I do think it's a blow to the team, but for the rest of the season, you have Jacoby Myers, you have Parker Washington, and you have Brian Thomas Jr. when he comes back and is fully healthy. So I'm not sure how much this affects the Jags. Travis Hunter was playing a lot. He was playing very well, but he kind of picked it up right before his injury.
Yeah,
So
he
I
picked
don't
it
think
up in
this hurts
London,
them.
that London
I,
game.
I don't think this hurts them too heavily.
Yeah. I think it sucks for him because this is a guy who was drafted second overall and had all these high expectations, and people were kind of confused with how he was going to play both sides of the ball efficiently. And right before he got hurt, he was playing both sides of the ball effectively. And this just sucks. It sucks for his momentum. It sucks for his development that he's not going to have a full season of play under his belt going into next year. He only has like 6 games or something going into next year. But we hope to see Travis Hunter return next year.
We also saw the same
Great
thing happen.
guy, great player.
We saw the same thing happen to Joe Burrow. He went down his
Yeah,
rookie season, lost a lot of it, and he's still a clear
yeah,
MVP candidate whenever
that's
he's
true.
healthy. So I don't
That's
think
true.
a rookie season injury is really that detrimental to a player.
Yeah. And it's not like he has a past of injuries. This is
Yeah.
a
It's a
rare injury.
very big difference where if like a guy like Jalen Ramsey or
Yeah.
Patrick Peterson were to have this happen to them, where
Yeah,
they're
where
in their
they're
like
old.
late
Yeah,
30s,
they're
he's
older.
still like early 20s, he'll be just fine.
Yeah. Next one is Jackson Dart is still dealing with concussion
Yeah.
symptoms, meaning if Jackson Dart cannot play, the Giants will unfortunately probably run with Russell Wilson instead
Mr.
of Jameis Winston.
Unlimited.
What does
Mr.
this look like
Limited.
for the Giants next
Um,
game if Jackson Dart's out?
a part of me thinks that, this so I forget who's taking over as their
Mike Kafka,
Mike
he's their
Kafka.
new head
Part of
coach,
me wonders
interim.
if Jackson Dart doesn't play and Russ comes out and stinks the bed, you have to wonder if they're going to throw Jameis in there.
I think
I
they
mean,
will.
what do
They
you have
have
to
to.
lose? You're 2-7 at this point. You're clearly missing the playoffs. Your team is completely done for. Why not just give the guy a chance? Worst case is you have a good backup because I don't believe Russ even plays after the season. I think he
No,
has the wherewithal to recognize he needs to retire. So if you have a
no, he
decent
doesn't.
backup in Jameis Winston, there you go. And I do
Uh,
think at this point in his career, Jameis Winston gives you a better chance to win games than Russell Wilson does.
He does. And he makes a lot of boneheaded mistakes, but he also makes a lot of those boneheaded mistakes. You see why he has the talent when he will, after that boneheaded mistake, he will throw for 300, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. And you're like, wow, this guy is so good. He just needs to watch the turnovers. But that's exactly what Jameis Winston is. He's exciting football. He is Jackson Dart with experience.
Nobody talks about his 14 touchdowns and 2 interceptions before he got injured in New Orleans. He
Yeah,
was
nobody
he was
does.
looking like their franchise player before he got injured, and for some reason
Yeah.
they decided to run with Taysom Hill as their guy.
Well, Taysom Hill was their quarterback after he went down.
That's what I'm saying. They ran with Taysom Hill as their quarterback instead of letting Jameis come back healthy and running with him.
Well, I think he was out for the year or something.
But he was there for 3 seasons.
Yeah. And then, yeah, he was back up for Drew Brees for what, a season? And
Mm-hmm.
then he
Then he
started the first 5 games of the
went
next season, then
down.
he got hurt. Yeah. But next one is another concussion. CJ Stroud is still dealing with concussion symptoms, meaning if he doesn't play, we're going to see another game of Davis Mills. What does this look like for Davis Mills against the Titans if he were to play?
I'm not gonna lie, this doesn't affect them at all. I think whether it's CJ Stroud or Davis Mills, they probably win this game. I mean, they beat a better team in the Jags and a very good defense. Now, I will say the Titans have a stout defense where it's not like, you're looking at a team like I don't know, the Saints, where their defense is atrocious and so is their offense. This is a very
Yeah.
good defense. But I just think, the Titans offense isn't nearly as good as the Jaguars offense. So I think no matter what, the Texans win this game, which also
Yeah.
puts them in a very good spot to potentially make the playoffs.
Hmm. I agree, although you did say something that caught me off guard because of your predictions, but yeah. Yeah,
Oh, you
I
saw I
agree.
saw too already.
I agree. I do think that with how well Davis Mills played, the 26-point comeback in the fourth quarter where they were down and they scored 26 points and took the lead. Well, it was like 19, and then they won by 7 or something.
I
But that
forgot.
was a wild ending. But we're going to talk about that later. I do think they're fine regardless. CJ Stroud or Davis Mills, I think they're going to beat the Titans. But next, Joe Burrow was activated from the 21-day practice window after he was seen on the sidelines. He could return for the Thanksgiving game. What does this mean for the AFC North if Joe Burrow comes back this month? Meaning we're going to have a last 5 to 6 weeks of healthy Joe Burrow to end the year, if that's the case.
The AFC North just got scarier. I already believe the AFC North is going to come down to a bloodbath. And, you know, realistically, the Bengals aren't out of it yet.
No,
I
they're
mean, of
not.
course, in my opinion, the Ravens are probably going to win their division, but it's not crazy. I think the Bengals could actually make a splash. Now, do I think their defense holds up enough? No, but at least they'll be competitive now.
Yeah, I agree too. It's funny because the Ravens were three and f are were had they were 92% favorites to win their division the game before Lamar Jackson came back, and I'm pretty sure they're 100% the favorites to win the AFC North now. But yeah, no, this AFC North is going to get crazy last month this season, especially with Pittsburgh's slump.
I
On to some,
really, I like the idea of what Cincinnati and Baltimore could do. I generally
I
don't
know.
know if I see Pittsburgh even making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, no, I don't either. But next, we're going to move on to some notable games from Week 10. First one, we had a game that will be the reason I never get my hair back, and that is Atlanta versus Indianapolis. Give Jonathan Taylor the MVP right now. Give him
100%.
the MVP right now.
He deserves it.
Daniel Jones threw went. With he was 17 for 26, 255 yards, one touchdown, one pick, and he lost a fumble. Fumbled two more times on top of that. This team runs through Jonathan Taylor. And we saw last week if they struggle, or 2 weeks ago, if they struggle, if Jonathan Taylor struggles, they lose. Because you have to put the ball in Daniel Jones's hands, and Daniel Jones is still the guy that you can't rely on to win games. Granted, he made some clutch throws this game, but this offense still runs through Jonathan Taylor.
Wholeheartedly. I'm very intrigued to see what this offense looks like the rest of the year. I think that we completely understand that this team has to become less one-dimensional. Of course, you're gonna do fine facing a team like the Falcons who doesn't have the firepower to hold up with you. But if you have to beat a team like the Falcons behind a three-touchdown game from Jonathan Taylor, what happens when you face the Chiefs? What happens when you face the Broncos? What happens when you face the
Uh,
Chargers?
we're going to see that game against the Chiefs in 2 weeks, actually. So,
My
yeah.
point being, there's not a you can't look at this and be like, oh, that's a guarantee because you have to question
Yeah.
what Daniel Jones you're gonna get and what Jonathan Taylor you're gonna get.
Yeah. Next game we're going to move on to is another one of my favorite teams, New Orleans versus Carolina. Tyler Shuck is their franchise quarterback. He's the
I
Saints franchise
I don't
quarterback.
think you can say that yet. There is just it's really hard to crown someone a franchise QB before you've seen what they can actually do. Look,
Tyler
you have
Shuck
two
threw
games.
for
I just
pretty
do
much
not
300 yards and two
two
touchdowns.
games to me is not enough for you to be like, yep, crown this guy. I have a hard time sitting here and be like 100%
And
yes.
he didn't play all that bad against the Rams. And then this he was just dotting everybody up. Chris Olave looked like the best receiver in football last week.
All right.
He looked like the best receiver in football on Sunday.
JSN
That
exists.
one-handed catch he made, my
It was an
God, that might have
overthrow.
been the catch of the year.
It
It
was
might
an
have been the
overthrow.
catch of the year. And he made Juwan Johnson look good. And Juwan Johnson was driving passes all year. But the thing I want to talk about is I see a lot of Panthers hate right now for Bryce Young from Panthers fans on Twitter. Calm down. Quarterbacks have bad stretches of football. Look, Peyton Manning, his last year was terrible. Guess what that season ended with? A Super Bowl. That's all I want to say, people. Calm down.
The
When we see
Panthers aren't
young
winning the Super
quarter
Bowl this year,
when we see young quarterbacks struggle through like 2 or 3 games at a time, we have to have patience, people. Patience. And Dave Canales has to fix the play call or something because they've gotten too comfortable with running the ball with Rico Dowdle after Rico Dowdle had that 3, 4 game span where he was untouchable. They have to mix it up more. Bryce Young cannot throw less than 30 passes when they are down trying to retake the lead. He cannot. If you want to win and you're coming from behind, you have to throw the football unless you have Jonathan Taylor who can do it by himself. But guess what? Not everybody has Jonathan Taylor. Not everybody does.
I will say I think I said it myself in the Packers game. They relied too heavily on Rico Dowdle. Now,
Mhm.
yes, it worked for them that game. This is just what happens when a guy has an off day and you only rely on them. They have to be they have to be less one-dimensional. And I
Mhm.
say the same thing about the Packers. They're a very one-dimensional team, and you're seeing the same thing happen with the Panthers.
Yeah. We talked briefly about the next game we're going to talk about. Jacksonville and Houston. What an ending. What an ending. I think this is what's it called? Davis Mills is auditioning for a potential starting job next year after this game on Sunday. And he could potentially, if CJ Stroud doesn't play, be auditioning for a starting job next year.
I see. I don't agree with that. I think that a lot of teams have learned from the Brock Osweiler experiment and recognize that 3 or 4 good games doesn't make a player max contract worthy or a starting contract worthy.
But he,
I definitely think that this is going to be a great way for Houston to retain him. They're probably going to try to hold on to him, especially because CJ Stroud has looked like a shell of himself this year. So I definitely think there's no QB controversy going on. Stroud's their guy.
no,
But
yeah, Stroud's our guy. But what I was saying was we got 2 seasons of a sample size with Davis Mills. We got a half a season his rookie year, and we got a full season where Davis Mills was average, and then we got this span of football that he's playing now. I think he's potentially auditioning for his starting job next year, right now.
I think we have different opinions on him.
But now Buffalo, Miami, we shouldn't. No, that game's just
Such a
stupid.
bad game. It's a trap.
Next we're gonna talk about it was the trap game. That's what it was. Next we have New York, the New York Giants versus the Chicago Bears. You want to talk about this since
I hated this game.
you want to talk about it?
Russell Wilson is the reason the Packers are behind the Bears in the standings, and I'm so mad about it.
I mean, the Packers are the reason the Packers are behind the Bears.
Shh. Matt LaFleur is the reason. Moron.
Okay, now we're gonna get into the big game for you, the big rant game for you, because we're gonna talk about the Monday Night Football game last night between the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. My, what a snooze fest! 10-7.
Surprised to hear you say that because you love defensive games.
Yeah, but you don't want your primetime games to be like this. You don't.
I
No.
mean, this
And I
is
love
just
I
more.
love a good defensive game, but don't have your primetime games like this. And we got 3 bad night primetime games.
This is just more proof that they need to fire Matt LaFleur.
Mm-hmm.
100% fire him, and if they're not going to fire him, take away play calling.
Yeah.
He cannot keep running all these screens. He cannot keep just
I mean,
having
Brandon
these
McManus also
stupid.
shouldn't miss game time field
Dude,
goals.
they have a guy who has kicked the franchise leading, like the franchise longest kick, who is perfect on the season, ready to play, and they're running with Brandon McManus, who's hit 3 of 9 over 40 yards.
Yeah.
That Matt LaFleur is a terrible play caller. He's an atrocious coach who doesn't believe in his players. The fact that he keeps the ball out of Jordan Love's hands blows my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, he sits there here and he plays so conservative. And I watched the video talking about it perfectly. LaFleur came along, and for 3 seasons, there were 13 plus wins. He didn't win a coach of the year because everyone gave the credit to Rodgers. So he started coaching well, and then Jordan Love picks it up, and now everyone's giving the credit to Jordan Love. it almost feels like he's trying to make it look like he is that great of a coach and he's taking the ball out of Jordan Love's hands. When you take the ball out of your $55 million quarterback's hands, you limit your game so heavily.
And if you pay a quarterback that much money, the game should go down to him at the end. The only time you should kick is a situation like last night when the game is on the line and you need points, and
And
Brandon McManus needs to go.
the game shouldn't have had to be on the line. With how many screenplays they've run the past 3 weeks alone, I don't know how he's not on the hot seat. If they lose this week, he should be fired.
Yeah, I agree. Which that would be wild if they lose, but that's besides the point. Okay, so now we're gonna finish with predictions. So last week I went 10-4. Last week you went 9-5. Shoot, a good week.
Not bad.
So my record of the year is 101, 55-1. Your record of the year is 79, 67-1. Meaning you have some catching up to do.
We've been saying
You
that.
have a lot of catching up to do. So let's just get right into it with the game 2 nights from now, because we're recording this on a Tuesday. We're actually recording this early for once. But yeah, no. The New York Jets versus the New England Patriots on Thursday Night Football. Who do you have winning?
I have the Jets winning this game. I believe wholeheartedly in trap games, and I think every team has one loss in a season that's like, dang, I can't believe they lost that game. We've seen it happen. The Chiefs lose to the Raiders every season. The Packers always drop a game to the Bears or the Vikings. It
No, they don't
happens
drop
every
games to the
year.
Bears. That doesn't happen.
I think this is the trap game of all trap games, and I think the Jets somehow sneak out with a win against the Patriots, but it'll be Tyrod Taylor who gets it for them.
You don't think Justin Fields is going to
I
start?
think Fields will start, but I think he's not finishing that game.
Yeah, there he can.
I mean, he threw the game-winning touchdown pass, but
Okay.
next, I have the Patriots winning 27-20. I'm not falling for the trap game. I don't think the Patriots, I think, are preparing for the Jets as they should have, and they're not overlooking the Jets. They're not.
We'll see.
Because Mike Vrabel's prepared. Next, we have the Munich game. I'm going to be the psycho that gets up to watch this absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah, I was
of
gonna say, who actually is
garbage
gonna waste their time to
situation.
watch that game?
It'll be me.
You're gonna be
I'm
up at
gonna
6
get
in the
up.
morning to watch that game.
We have Washington and Miami. Who do you have winning?
I mean, I'm gonna have to take Washington.
Absolute dumpster fire. I have Washington winning.
As much as I
23 to
think
22.
Miami should be looked at with a little bit of respect, I mean, we've seen them have a good game and then just completely drop off the next game.
Yeah.
So I fully believe in Washington to take this game.
Next, we have a revenge game of sorts from 3 seasons ago. We have the Chargers and the Jags. Who do you have winning?
I have the Chargers winning this game. I think
This isn't the same team that made
the Chargers are significantly better.
Yeah, the Chargers are a million times better. I have them winning 33-20. It's not going to be close. It's going to be pretty comfortable. Next, we have an AFC North battle because we have Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh. Who do you have winning?
Right now, we have Pittsburgh slumping heavily. And I kind of believe in that slump. I saw they signed Asante Samuel Jr., which is great, but I still have Cincinnati taking this game. I think they have more to play for, and they recognize they're about to get their quarterback back. So they're going to play hard to keep themselves in the run.
I have Pittsburgh winning 37-35. I have Pittsburgh winning. I think Aaron Rodgers gets the dub over Joe Flacco since the Joe Flacco mystique has kind of worn off in Cincinnati already. But I do have them. Pittsburgh
All right,
winning.
you've a revenge Unk Bowl right there.
I know. We have Green Bay versus New York.
I think
the New
this
York Giants
is
next.
this is the perfect game to bounce back from your last 2 losses for Green Bay. I do believe they win this game soundly, especially if it's Russell Wilson playing. The guy throws nothing but moon balls,
Regardless.
and this is going to be a place where they feast.
Yeah, I have Green Bay winning 29-17. Okay, next we have Chicago versus Minnesota.
I have Minnesota winning this game. I'm looking at Minnesota and I kind of like what they did. Last week they played very well against a very good Ravens team. I think that the what's it called? The Bears we've watched them only beat bad teams so far, and I think the Vikings are a better team.
Minnesota's a bad team.
The Vikings are better than we think they are. So I have the Vikings taking this game.
This is the Bryce's beatdown of the week. I have Chicago beating Minnesota 27 to JJ McCarthy. Listen to this. 9.
Listen, we saw the Vikings handle the best team in the NFC North pretty easily in the Detroit Lions. So I think if they can handle the Lions, they can handle the Bears. And this is in Minnesota.
Houston versus Tennessee.
I
Who's
actually
winning?
have Tennessee winning this game. Regardless of what I said
This is why I
earlier,
was surprised.
regardless of what I said earlier, I do think Tennessee takes this game. I think it's one of those games they're playing for anything. They're playing for their veterans to get some kind of contract elsewhere. They're playing for any kind of morale. And I think this will be one of those games that Houston overlooks heavily. And it's in Tennessee. I like the upset here.
This was originally my Bryce's beatdown of the week, and then I realized that Chicago versus my Chicago Minnesota score was more than this game. I have Houston winning 30 to 14.
Wow.
This is the early slate game of the week, for sure. The next game, Buffalo versus Tampa Bay. Who do you have winning?
I definitely think this is going to be a slugfest. I think Buffalo needs a bounce back, especially after dropping a game to Miami. I think
Both of these
being
games.
in Highmark, I think it's pretty safe to say Buffalo takes this. I think it's a shootout. I do not think it's going to be an easy win at all. Tampa Bay is still a very good team,
Yeah.
but Tampa Bay can afford this loss more than Buffalo
Yeah,
can.
because the NFC South kind of sucks. Yeah. I have Buffalo winning this game 23-21. I think it's going to be close, but I do have Buffalo pulling it out in the end because they need this win way more than Tampa does. Next, we have Carolina and Atlanta.
This is going to be a tough game, in my opinion. I think these are two teams who are very evenly matched. Even though the last time we saw them play, Carolina heavily dominated this game. I think it'll be a close one, but I think Carolina sweeps the season series and takes this game.
I have Carolina winning 22 to 17. It's not going to be obviously as much of a blowout because that was a healthy Bryce Young. This is clearly not a healthy Bryce Young. But yeah, no, I do have Carolina winning 22 to 17. Next, we have the afternoon games. We have San Francisco versus Arizona. Who do you have winning?
I think that I'm intrigued with this game, but I actually have Arizona taking this. San Francisco is looking like they're starting to slump at the worst time. They looked rough. Like they looked really bad against the Rams. And I get the Rams are a great team, but Arizona is no slouch. I really like what they're doing with Jacoby Brissett. Yes, he had a rough game, but their offense is kind of picking it up and their defense is figuring out how to play. And I would not be surprised if Arizona is a kind of a team that'll hinder your playoff chances. So give me Arizona.
I have San Francisco winning 27-24. I think that Arizona is just not that good, regardless of who's a quarterback. And I have San Francisco winning because I give them the edge of quarterback, and Brock Purdy may be coming back this week. So we have Seattle versus the Los Angeles Rams, and we see the debut of the Rams midnight
Dear
uniforms.
God, I'm so excited about that. This,
And
in my opinion, I mark this as my game of the week.
I have it.
Actually,
This is the Two Bros podcast game of the week because I think it's the game of the week also.
this, in my opinion, might be one of my crazier calls, but I have Seattle winning this game. I think Seattle is playing hungry. Mike McDonald is putting on a coaching clinic consistently. And this is nothing against the Rams. I think this is going to be a high scoring game. In my opinion, this might be on the par of the Chiefs Rams game we saw a few years ago.
From
I
like
just
2017 or something.
I
Like
think
2018.
what it's going to come down to is the youth of Seattle overtaking it. JSN, outstanding player. We saw Devontae Adams go down. We're not sure if he's going to play this week. JSN and Rashid Shaheed get the nod, in my opinion, over also Cooper Kupp in a revenge game.
Yeah.
They get the nod over Puka Nacua and a potentially injured Devontae Adams.
We'll see.
Who
I
do you-
have Seattle too. No knock to the Rams, but I think the Seattle team is just way too good right now. This Seattle team is probably the best team in the NFC at the moment. And no knock to the Rams because they're number 2. They may be 1 or 2. It's either the Rams or the Seahawks are the best team in the NFC. And they're better than the Eagles. I'm going to say it right now. But yeah, no, I have Seattle winning 38-35.
Another
Next,
shootout.
we have a another controversial game between you and I. Kansas City and Denver. Who do you have winning?
Um, so after watching this Thursday night game we just saw, it really is hard for me to pick Denver in this situation. They had a hard time taking down the Raiders, and versus the Chiefs who absolutely demolished the Raiders. So I do have the Chiefs going into Mile High Stadium and taking a win here.
I have Denver winning 20-17. I think this is the Bo Nix bounce back game. I think Bo Nix does have a good game, but I do have Denver winning 20-17.
I hope.
I hope so too. Next, we have Sunday Night Football. We have the Detroit Lions versus the Philadelphia Eagles, and this might be the best Sunday Night Football game of the year.
Did you skip the Ravens game?
Oh, I did. Yeah. Who was it again?
Ravens versus the Browns
Oh,
in Cleveland. I mean, I think we both know the Ravens are going to win that game,
yeah.
but can't skip over it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna write it real fast.
So for me,
I'm-
while you're doing that, I have the Ravens. I think it's a pretty easy win. Lamar needs a comfortable game to sit down and take a dub. So give me the Ravens. This might
It
even
was
be a game where we see Shador Sanders play.
Yeah. And last time the Ravens blew out the Browns, and I don't see anything else changing. Baltimore winning 31-3.
Wow. Is that
I
your blowout of the
have-
week then?
Oh yeah, this is my blowout of the week then, since I totally forgot. So this is my blowout of the week.
28-point win. Jeez.
I have Detroit versus Philadelphia. Who do you have winning?
I have Philadelphia winning this. I think Philadelphia sweeps the season series of all NFC North teams they face. It's no knock on Detroit. I think Detroit's an outstanding team. I just think Philly right now, their defense looks like absolutely horrifying and someone you don't want to face. And once again, we saw the Lions really struggle against the Minnesota Vikings. So I don't, once again, no knock on Detroit. Still the best team in the NFC North. It's just I got to give it to the Eagles in Philly as well.
Well, don't you know that the Lions had to face 9? The Lions had to face 9. They're not playing
when nine
9.
faced Chicago.
They're not playing 9 today. They're playing Jalen Hurts on Sunday, and I do think Detroit wins 30-28.
Wow.
Next, we have Monday Night Football. We have the Dallas Cowboys versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Who do you have winning?
Can I say something on this? Look at all the absolutely outstanding games we have this week. We have
And then we have
a Chargers, Jags, Bucks, Bills, even Bengals, Steelers, Seahawks, Rams, Chiefs, Broncos, Lions, Eagles. Why is the Cowboys with the Raiders the Monday night game?
Why is it Kansas City, or why is it Seattle, LA?
Seattle, LA should be the
Kansas
Monday
City, Denver. Kansas City,
One of those
Denver.
two should be the Monday night game. I have the Cowboys winning this. I think it's pretty easy win for them. But come on, no one's going to care about this game after watching a stacked Sunday.
Even Sunday Night Football is great. Detroit and Philadelphia.
Detroit and Philadelphia, like the NFL, I really don't get it. And why are you giving us the Commanders and the Dolphins to start the
That's
day
the
out? Once
Munich
again,
game.
you could have given us the Bucks Bills for that. Imagine starting the day out with that.
Yeah, they've flexed games out. They can easily flex games in. Like,
So dumb.
I have Dallas winning too, 35-30. But what a horrible Sunday morning game we're gonna get, and what a horrible Monday night game.
And a really bad Thursday night game, to be honest.
Yeah, the only really good night game we're gonna get is
The Lions Eagles.
this Sunday Night Football. But yeah, no, that's gonna do it for this episode. If you guys like to, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, we will see you guys next time.
Peace.